Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS. This is Major 1. This is day 1. Kelly, don't laugh. I'm panicking. I'm stressing. Much has developed after this last game. In case you just tune in, maybe you're just like, oh man, I've had a long day coming in. I'm watching the FNCS. Welcome. Happy that you're here. Game 5 went the way of Agers and Ritual, which is massive for the duo. They ended with 267 points. As we take a look at those standings, this now puts them in 4th place. This is huge for them. Now, we only have a single game left to go here. I don't know how, but Cold and Rapid continue to hold on. They just continue to just find these little consistencies. They just chain together these situations, Kelly, and it's enough, right? A 5th place, 6 elims, and still they are ahead of the pack. It's only 20 points, but if we just keep doing that, right, we just stay ahead of everybody else.
No, you keep saying, I don't know how, and then you explain exactly how. They're constantly making it into the end game. They haven't placed below 8th. They have 30 eliminations, which is more than anyone else in the lobby right now. Cold and Rapid are completely locked in, and this is exactly what I wanted to see at the end of day 1. We can talk about all the other teams right now. There's so many narratives to go on, but to see Cold and Rapid, a team that, for whatever reason, people, I say for whatever reason, it's because Cold, for whatever reason, doesn't play Fortnite all the time, and you gotta wonder if he did play as much Fortnite as some of these other players like a Peterbot or a Clix, just how much even better he would be, Vivid.
It's crazy watching back some of the replays from that game. You can see a lot of the times how close their game is to being over, right? They were kind of walking around on the mid-ground layer. They had 0 builds to their name, and that was top 16, right? There was 16 teams left alive when that actually happened, right? No builds. It seemed like the game was pretty much going to be done, and somehow that game ends up being a 5th place for them. Like, these guys just will not lose. They will not go down without picking up a plethora of points to keep them in that 1st place spot. Now, they are in 1st place, but hot on their heels right now. Visuals and Braids, they did close the gap that game for sure. Visual and Braids picked up a 2nd place with 10 eliminations, which, I mean, dude, that is huge. As you can see, I mean, yeah, they're winning out on the placement points right now. Those eliminations is probably all of the difference between them in 1st place right now.
I mean, Visuals and Braids is, again, we talked about it at the last year. They were constantly getting 4th place in 2 different majors when they played with Diminished. And before we went live, Jacob PR said that they are the best duo that we never talk about. For whatever reason, they only lock in when it comes to the grand finals. But when they do it big, and they're always in the top 5. They're always beating out some of the bigger teams that we talk about. So I would love to give them the flowers that they deserve. And finally, by being in 2nd place after or towards the end of day 1, they're just grabbing the flowers themselves and saying, look what we can do.
It's scary, right? If Cold and Rapid make one of those little mistakes we've kind of been talking about, you know, Visual and Braids, they're ready to capitalize. They really are. It's got me questioning, guys. Like, obviously we make the joke like Cold doesn't play the game. What if, conspiracy theory, I'm going to break out my own board here. What if Cold has a secret account we don't know about and he's playing Fortnite all the time? Think about it. Think about it. Let's go back
it's
to
called
those.
Hot.
Let's go back to the standings. Kelly, don't make me laugh on broadcast. Let's go back to the standings. We got to talk about Clix and Higgs, Peterbot and Poyo. Their battle continues, man, for like a while. Clix and Higgs were like, they were pulled away, but look at this. We're just separated by 10 points. Oh man, even after those 2 victory royales, Kelly, I'm looking at those 10 elims being the difference maker right now. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, this is the moment right now that we can see the misstep from Clix and Higgs. We know that they love to take an early high ground, and they saw zone holding towards this mountain, and so they kind of thought, let's get an early aggression onto this high ground. We're going to claim it, but they stayed in Storm just a little too long, taking a little bit too much damage that Higgs and Clix were not able to recover from, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, they look like they were in prime position to go ahead and win that game, right? Kind of launching up on top of the hill right there. Just a little bit of an over peak from Clix. Got beamed by the rifle. I would have to imagine that was, you know, on the receiving end from Ishu, who was going to be the player that ended up aggressing towards him. So Clix and Higgs, yes, 234 points in 5th place. Right behind them, like we talked about, Peterbot and Poyo, 6th place, 224 points. Honestly, not a terrible game from Peterbot and Pollo, right? It doesn't really like feel like that because we didn't see them in the end game. We don't really like see them fly up to leaderboard right now, so we're kind of like, okay, it doesn't really look like they had a good game. They got 12th place, so not the best placement, but picked up 8 eliminations, which is their most eliminations so far throughout the day in a single game. So super cool to see. Really liked the high ground play from them, by the way, because as you can see, the elevation changes that were kind of happening over here amongst the natural terrain allowed it so an overdrive grenade combined with a mist actually allowed them to float up to like perfect height to take the fight up there. So super cool to kind of see them make a good play like that. I think ultimately another team ended up getting the best of them. Yeah, that was Ritual and Aegis who went up. And I swear, Kelly, we kind of talked about it. These fights that keep happening up in the sky, it's so wild to me. Is there no other better play to make in those scenarios?
Yeah, what was it? Ritual launched up in the air, and then Peter followed up launching in the air as well to shoot Rituals, but then Agers followed Peterbot and shot him instead. And you gotta wonder just how distracted everyone is that there's just 2 different duos floating up in the air having their own Dragon Ball Z fight, and no one else is looking up towards them. But 5 games, 1 more for day 1, Zeke, and it's just so much has already happened.
I know, Kelly, this is it. Okay, this is the final opportunity for these duos to cement their day 1 performance, because they're gonna have to look to pick up the pieces that they've laid out tomorrow, right? And bring whatever they've learned into tomorrow's 6 games and fight for either spots going to Dusseldorf and the Summit or an Axe of Champions and a title, right? Like, this is so crazy. One last game today before we say goodbye. Casters, for the last time, take it away.
Honestly, Monster, I feel like we're just sitting down for game 1, starting the day, and we're in game number 6. The last chance that these duos have for today to try to get as many points and close that gap as possible.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have had another coffee before this all started. I really didn't need it. The competition is that good right now with Cold and Rapid in such a monstrous lead. Let's just see if they can hold on to it.
It might be too early to start making a little prediction. Who's landing on who's ready to take it by force. But this is game 6, and honestly, where you stand at the end of today, you're gonna have to go elimination crazy tomorrow. You're gonna have to get consistent top placings if you do want to win this competition, as Jack and NPen do fly down at their drop spot uncontested this time around. They got to watch out for the mountain ranges with Cole and Madden, Acorn and Bolt, and even Frigid Fortress where Osin and Scare land. But for now, it does look like they're going to have a good early game.
Still can't believe Paper's trying to 50-50 this weapon here, considering he fell off the mountain before, but this time he does win the exchange there. He is up 1. He's got full control here. Other fights happening in the feed. Seems like a little bit of a mix-up. Saw Ritual take down Raven. Wonder if that's because he put boots on the ground first and took him out the sky. We'll end up getting some updates there shortly. Jumping in with Cold and Rapid, though. I mean, Jacob, talk to me, dude. What do you think needs to happen in order for the Kings of Dark Dominion to fall?
Honestly, they just need to have a game that is unlike any other. Their worst game today is in 8th place with 5 eliminations. So it's going to be hard to topple over a team like this. You see Max, you see Moppings. No, I know by looking at this point of view, you'd think they're going to run into each other, but Max and Moppings are underneath in those little turbines, just trying to loot. It's a little bit of a split drop. Cold and Rapid don't typically go underneath there. So it does look like both of those teams, you know, I'm doing air quotes here, uncontested in this game. Nothing too much to worry about. Visuals and Braids, we've seen them at the start of some of these games so far. They don't really stray away from their plan. They are in the center of the zone. They just got to hope that they get the good loot, because they don't normally go and scoop loot up else from anywhere else.
Just take me way back to that like Cammy SETI day where they were landing kind of split mountains and having full control of the center zone. No problems with rotates, but give us a second here. Peterbot, Boyo doing what they need to do, finding an early elimination, rotating out. This is almost looking like a repeat performance of game 3 and 4, where they wanted to play hyper aggressive to start making up for points. And it has seemed to pay off for them for the most part, right? Like, all they're missing is kind of closing things out and making some big end game performance for positioning points. But the elims are definitely there.
You know they can pop off at a moment's notice. We tune in Acorn and Bolts. This is one of those drops where you don't necessarily get contested if you're Acorn and Bolts, because it usually narrows down to just kind of like two separate 50-50s on top of the mountain for those chests, where Acorn and Bolts usually, more times than not, have beaten out teams like Peterbot and Poyo to kind of head and claim this drop as their own, which kind of means they're safe for the early portions of this game. 20, not so much. Neko's already down, so the world is literally on his shoulders for the last game of today. But luckily for him, there's still so many other teams right by him battling it out. It's going to allow him to disengage for free.
Yeah, he gets saved by Bucky and Zen, who just come in and then get crashed on. They thought they were going to set up the big alert, but it seems like they were spotted out. Meanwhile, Listen and Aloe seem to have been fragmented apart as well. Well, he's forced to play by himself, so quite the messy start for all four of these teams or so. Meanwhile, Braids, though, falls here. It's all up to Visuals. Big problem here. It's Magma and G Monster who come crashing the party here. Visuals, though, gets collapsed on. It's not looking good. G Monster's in the box. Visual forced to back off, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away, but G Monster fails a little edit there. This gives him some time. Visual gets a little heal off, and this is so close. Just like that. Second place is down and out. They thought they were safe on the mountain here, and it's just all over.
Luckily for them, they have a 36-point gap. They are in second place, like you said, 311 points. Third place is Acorn and Bolts at 275. So a little bit of a cushion. You got to imagine they're going to fall from that second place spot. But how high do they stay on the leaderboard after this game is said and done? Is what really going to matter. Start bot reviewing a little bit early as Peterbot and Poyo continues their rampage, returning back to Squibbly Shores or Mafia and the Tick. This is where they went to try to get that reboot off. Maybe they're going to pick somewhere better because they just get eliminated yet again. The Tick is literally going to be left by himself. Not sure exactly where he's at, but he has to be close by because the reboot just went off.
Nice little pickups there, but you know what? Last game they did this too, and they still found themselves not exactly in a position to, you know, outpace the general surge damage. So these elims are just coming across as super quick, but it will come down to can they pick apart other teams, and the rotates there as far as positioning is. But Curvin, Veno back into the mix here, back in the action. Last game was generally a decent one. This looks like a little deja vu as they take down Chance and Tyler once again here. When we tuned in like Zone 4, they had 6 elims. We'll see what they end up doing this game.
Yeah, really just taking quick advantage of the teams that are contested on the south side of Battlewood, whether it's just damage or full-on elimination just like that. They have their game plan set and ready to go. Acorn and Bolt, similar for them. This time around, you see them get off of the mountain right away. They have a feeling the zone is not going to pull over in that direction, so they want to get one of these priority positions over towards Painted Palms. A little bit of a mountain. They go ahead and replenish some of those builds, brick and metal, and they're going to sit Bolts up top, and he's going to be the primary source for their surge.
Got the split once again from Higgs and Clicks here. This time, not opting to sit right on top of the wonky land. They want to be a bit dynamic here. So the mountains, this bush here, it is. Creon and Dragon there, based up in the distance. Clicks might find some tags here shortly.
Higgs has bait right there. One of them in the bush. He knows Higgs is going to be able to watch his back. Got to make sure Clicks doesn't get lurked on for free, and vice versa. Throwing threats and fear. Riptide, uncontested. They've been able to get the Mythic more times than not. Just having to put it to use. 220 points. They're in contention of that top 13 spot. About 114 points away from first place as well. So one good game here to close out the day for a good chunk of the teams. Possibly bounce him into first place as Bucky does go down. Blake and Preston are able to get both of those eliminations and even a third on top.
It's a very nice set of points right there. Keeping them in the conversation so far. Again, there are still teams fighting for that top 13 to make it to land. Jacob, you want to take a glance at what's the threshold, just so we can continue to kind of bake that into the story here, because I know we're looking at obviously who's in the championship race, but remember, there's so much more on the line for this first majors.
Yeah, right now it's at 158 points, and that's being held by Slepsy and Wages, barring any eliminations early on in this game, of course. And it just goes to show how close it is, because below them, Scare and Osid, 156. Tyler and Chance, Jargo and Carillion tied at 150. H-Cube and Encrypted at 138. Literally, one elim separates so many teams from the next placement point. A couple of actual placement points throughout the course of this game could really change the role. And last time we saw Threats and Veer, and looking like clean rotations through the zone, but they get spotted out by Curve and Veno, and in an instant they go down.
And they were in 7th coming into this game, so that's going to open things up for sure for everyone else below them. Madden, Cole here are one of those teams inside the top 10 that are just trailing behind them. It's quite the jump, too, from 8th and 9th. It's a 20-point jump to get to Threats and Veer, who was at 220 points there. So you can see that because they fall, this standings in general is going to become more and more condensed towards the bottom. Boya Peterbot, though, continue the aggression. We've seen them actually fight this team before and come out successful. They just seem to be essentially picking apart these same duos in their vicinity, and this is how they're earning all these points here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's planned or not, but kind of like what you're saying, just one elim, let the reboot go down, clean the elim up again. Only 3 so far. 2 of the elims are on one of the same players. Then he's able to get Skinny Cat, someone they eliminated in an earlier game. But all of that was going down. Guess what I saw on the feed? This here, Veno with a double elimination. The shockwaves and the fizz. And the interesting thing about that is you don't necessarily get the audio visuals. So he is just sneaking on players left and right.
This is how they're doing it. This is how they're basically the most successful early game team I think we've tuned in with on this entire tournament. They could just clean up their end games, get a little bit of luck on the zones, maybe some positioning. They'll be up at the top. So tomorrow could be a day of adjustment for them, and we could very well see a Veno Curve comeback. Mod Sphinx were in that same conversation for quite some time, but again, just coming up short, finding themselves being picked apart, I think, by Peterbot and Boya on that last game there, as they fell at 23rd in the previous one, and then 8th last round with only 2 elims. So either way, they did manage to clutch up, even though they were taken out a little bit earlier.
Sometimes just being patient, not making a rush to decide any decisions. I'm just kind of having a calm, cool, collected demeanor. It's very, very similar here to Cold and Rapid. You can see it tops this total shock and damage of everybody else in this game. Just goes to show that Cold, man, it's just, the rumors are true. Doesn't have to play. Honestly, just the grind that he's put in the past couple years alone is paying off. He's a prime-time player here. One team's going to be in their path towards the south. Even though they have to rotate in towards the east, they do have the shockwaves, they have the fizz, so they can cover a good chunk of distance in no time at all.
Look at this, little do they know, there was a team rotating right below them there, so a little bit of a missed opportunity for them. Meanwhile, Cooper and Reet have this crazy looking base. I was gonna try to describe it, but I don't know what to say. It's just set up for obviously some tags fishing here.
Most of the games, when the zone did pull towards the south, or even the western side, where we went over towards Wonky Land and the mountains, Reed and Cooper kind of made it a priority to rotate rather early on, but this time around, they do got latte landing. If they do need it, they have the launch pad right behind them as well, but they're there just on the edge of zone. They can easily climb back down, shockwave off, try to close distance that way, depending on where the next zone falls, so it's not going to be too many difficult decisions for them to come up with as the game continues to move on. Aviv and King, though, all the way on the south towards New Sanctuary. 2 eliminations so far, and this is one of the first times we're seeing them really stray far away from Sus Studios to try to pick up early damage.
Those are some huge elims. This is going to put them right in contention for the top 13. We're at 144 now. Elims are just the best way, really, to go ahead and make sure you're on pace to fall. Acorn and Bolts, though, they're trying to fight for first. Targeting down Osid. Scared down low. See up top, Bolts has clutched a 78 points as a solo, the most of all players here today. Just really showing you why Bolts is one of the better fraggers out there. His ability to perform clearly has been shown here this weekend so far.
They've been able to get at least one win so far. Kind of woke up from that slumber. Benno and Curve getting aggressive. This is first place thereafter. They got the Elim onto Cold. Rapid's now by himself, stuck in a tough spot, trying to get out. Use the porta potty. King and Aviv and there are as well. They're just trying to get out. And now Curve and Benno have to make that decision. Do we go along with them? It does look like that answer is going to be yes, but luckily for them, King, Aviv, they've already rotated on out. 2,000 damage almost above the threshold. Venno and Curve realize the situation that they're in, Monster. Taking a page out of Peterbot's playbook, saying, hey, if we have any hope of winning this tournament, it's going to be by eliminations and coming back.
The best part about that is Venno and Queasy quite literally set that trend, right? They were the first villains we've ever had in the Fortnite lore. Venno's at 7 eliminations total right here alongside Curve. This is just some exceptional performance right now. And again, it just makes you wonder. They have been the most successful early game duo that we have seen when it comes down to just the way they've managed to ambush duo after duo. It is just a matter of finding placement points in the end game for them.
I'm feeling a big Benno game here. I'm feeling a big Benno game here. Gold pistol, mythic iron pump. This dude is going to turn, look at people, and they are going to go out like a light. So I'm eager to see how he continues to perform. If he does make it into the next portion of the game. Max pull, though, for Peterbot, Pollo, and a few others. Much better off, though, in this game than they have in previous games in terms of that Storm Surge. Almost 800 above the threshold. Kind of doing something similar to Curve and Venno, looking around for those eliminations. They've been able to close the fights down pretty quick, not extending them to where they're trading damage back and forth. They just got to worry about this rotation here. We're kind of seeing the other side, exactly that. Rapid by himself. And honestly, any points here from Rapid are huge. He just needs to get inside of the top 25.
Got to give himself a little bit of cushion to work with here. Now, remember, Visuals and Braids is down as well in second place. So first and second go down. This is the perfect scenario for an Acorn and Bolt to have an opportunity to kind of solidify a lead going into day 2. And Acorn has not been someone who has often had successful day 1s. He usually comes back stronger day 2. And although he's won Major 1 for the last 3 years consecutively, it has not been easy performances, no easy walkaway, no runaway performances. It has come down to strong day 2 kind of cleanups in his performance. So this is by far the best we've seen so far. Just keep that in mind as you watch this game go down. So if Rapid can manage to clutch up, the rest of this entire tournament is in trouble, right? Now, if he falls early, as he probably should, everyone's got a chance.
Yeah, if I'm Rapid, I'm aiming for top 12, top 10. That's a good chunk of the placement points. Almost half. We're in the top 8, you get those, but he gets spotted out. You can see he's running low on materials. Uses the shockwave to try to get away, and he's going further outside of the zone to try to hope there's less and less people in this pathward inward. 89 above the damage threshold. A couple shots are going to connect there in that instant, but you can see he's just trying to return back to some of these boxes, maybe even break his way in to try to find any scraps left behind, but he's just waiting for the zone actually forces him to move in. That's when he's going to dig in the pocket and try to pull out those shockwaves.
He's getting a couple tags there while he's at it. Meanwhile, Muzz and Sphinx healing just outside the box of Peterbot and Boyo. They're trying to see if Muzz is going to make a mistake and weaken that wall with an edit. That's all it's going to take for them to break right in. They say, nah, screw it. We're going to go on and break in ourselves. Meanwhile, Ritual takes down Blake and Preston here. The little side angle. And Agers and Rituals are very much in the race right now. This is going to be a team that we're going to have to be talking about here shortly. If they go for high ground, if they go for a win. Rapid, you see him on the side of our screen just flying across now. And everyone here in this back corner, Jacob, is in a world of trouble.
Yeah, they barely got above that damage threshold for Muzz and Sphinx, because that would have been Muzz going down. He had 24 HP, 1 strike. takes him
Veno
out
falls.
of this game. But luckily for him,
Pollo's
the
down.
Jug's there. Pollo's down. Veno's down. Rapid's still alive. And for Rapid, with how things have been looking, this is a huge blessing with a bunch of our juggernauts being left as solos.
Curve, that's it. That's all that's left to kind of play this one out. Placement points hasn't even been given out, mind you. Peterbot's also solo here. So everyone that has this blessed opportunity to try to close the gap is now left as solos. Sphinx in the same position as well, 66 below. He's taking damage in your bottom right. Peterbot's just lurking here, waiting for a chance. Everyone here just wants position, mind you.
Just to simply even get in the zone. 3 different solos. And the world of difference that they're all going through is Sphinx literally has 2 HP trying to find his way out. Curve finds another elimination. That's Higgs. That's an elimination onto Higgs.
Oh my God.
Not sure if Clicks is still left alive. Didn't necessarily see a knock there, but another big name being put on the back foot here. Even Sphinx barely surviving. I'm not even sure how he's not been looked at once. Barely just 2 HP. Clicks is in fact still alive. So another big name left as solos here. Luckily for all 3 on screen, all of them are going to be above the damage threshold. Even more so as Peterbot finds another elimination.
This is crazy right now. Peterbot's putting up the clutch here that he needed for the tournament. There goes the big shockwave to get him into the zone. He's just going to take the most advantage of having that max stamina. And there he goes. Changes layers now. He's in a strong position. Meanwhile, Sphinx is still at 2 HP. He is slowly earning placement points, though, here.
I don't know
Can't afford to
who's
play
still
with zone.
alive, who's
These are
not
some of
still
his own
alive.
builds here. He's going to still continue to go around the outskirts. Bringing focus back to the left, though. I mean, this is insane to kind of watch play out right now. Everyone here, although they are solo, are playing exceptionally well. Curves on the heels of Clicks, though. Clicks barely
It's
manages
fucking
to get
so
away there.
doing. Still both
Yeah, you
do.
can see right now in
both
terms of
full
curves,
high
really just
gun.
out of build
What the
entirely.
fuck?
0 left, gets spotted out on the other edge, can't build to protect himself, so he scrambles around until he's finally
Peterbot
taken down. That's a big elim by Peterbot there. You said it yourself, 266 points, single-handedly trying to put the team and the game on his back, close the gap. Coming into tomorrow, Click's trying to do the same thing, but it's a diminished in hobby. We talk about solos here in this game. We finally had a duo emerge as the high ground team.
And Clicks is still in this
The-
as well. A couple builds, but QK Contrap got him cornered. Meanwhile, Agers and Ritual finally start finding more eliminations. They're one of the stronger duos still alive in the low ground right now. They find a refresher, and Clicks here, although he's got no eliminations, that's been the problem with Clicks and Higgs. They've gotten the placement points, but they need the elims. And what more can you ask for from Clicks right now as he's almost inside the top 10. He runs into a full duo. He has to back off. Monster's shot there, though, just to kind of keep pressure on these opponents, but he's got to be careful. He still has no builds.
oh, you
And
not
there's
see
another
him?
duo there.
Oh.
It's Acorn and Bolts just waiting to pick them up.
Oh,
And they
thank you.
secure
I can
Elim.
see.
Up to
Thank you
second
for
place.
that.
Acorn and Bolts go now as they are inside the top 3.
Yep, now this to be able to secure a win. Who knows? We might be able to see them at first when the day is over. Peaks finds a big shot. Agers goes down, though. You see Ritual scrambling around. Even with 3 builds left, he's trying to be calculated about how he uses his materials. Big shot gonna be supplied. I'm not even sure why Dozier went back, but he's gonna regret that one as Ritual picks up a big elim. Even more so, the Siphon keeping him alive. Runs into HQ on the other side. Ritual is going off right now, picking up another couple of eliminations.
We have to jump off that beat for just a second. Down he goes at 7th place. It's Reed who's
Dang.
here to meet everyone with the shotgun shot. Now it's Reed's turn. Down goes Contrap. Down goes QK here shortly. Can he get the shot? No, he doesn't. And he falls just in the top 5. Meanwhile, Bolts is still alive here, clutching up for placement points. Just doing it big here. Everyone you expect to perform is doing it here and now.
Got 2 solos left alive, 2 duos. I'm Up and Salt. They're taking the charge down below, but they're also taking the focus from that team up above. Bolt's trying to hide the audio visuals, realizing no builds left, can't continue to protect himself. Mythic 1 pump away, but he goes down, not able to get the max 200. So that leaves I'm Up, another player as a solo. Salt's going down. A minute and Javier firing up from above, trying to burn through those materials. Enough does go down. They don't even know where this last player's at, but he's up above trying to catch him off guard. That's QK. There is a moment here, Monster. He gets almost a minute down. There it goes. The knock is cleaned up. QK!
What the
QK!
fuck?
Oh my God! I've never witnessed that in one of the biggest lobbies of our time.
197 points now. He might have just did enough after this weekend is over to send himself to LAN. That is the type of performance we want to see here on the final stage, Zeke.
Damn. Take out all the
That was-
shit for the fuck up today. What's up,
Yeah, no,
NCS?
that definitely.
Insane.
Looking
Kelly,
good.
Hold on.
Sorry.
That was insane. First off,
Take
Jacob
away,
VR, MDF,
you know,
thank you guys
something bend
so much.
people
Fantastic
and
to the
other
cast.
than
Oh
Fortnite.
my
Fuck
gosh.
you. Yeah.
QK, first off, can we just say that was the game of solos? Every duo was just a solo, right? Like all these high profile duos, and even in this situation, QK with Khan gets put in a solo situation and 1v2s for the VR, and Kelly and gets 8 elims when it matters. That's crazy. That's
To
crazy.
go from our last chance qualifier to getting the final victory royale of day one definitely is setting QK and Khan up for an interesting storyline. And there was a moment we could even hear the caster saying, I don't even know where this other solo player is. I thought it was a 2v2. It was Javi and Aminish versus Sol and I Am Enough. We don't have to worry about this 5th player. But no, Vivid, you do have to worry because it's Fortnite. And if there's anything you can predict, it's the unpredictable. So big shout outs to QK and Khan.
Yeah, QK just coming out from nowhere. We actually saw him pick up the elimination in the storm, so he must have been healing out there before he made the return to the zone. MDF kind of caught it out. QK, after his incredible solo clutch, was able to pick them up enough points to put them on 197. I can tell you right now, going into that game, they had a total point count of 100. So they basically doubled their points based on that solo performance right there. Doubled.
I'm telling you, one game, a single game can change absolutely everything for these players. Congratulations again, QK Khan. VR game number 6. Okay. This was it. So first off, we have wrapped up the 6 games for today. So before we take a look at the standings, again, I just want to remind you, we have 6 more games tomorrow. So this day was all about cementing a lead, coming in, making a statement, and making sure you have enough points that when you start tomorrow in those 6 games, you have what you need. You have enough gas in the tank to get you over the finish line to either qualify being in top 13 to the summit or look to hold the active champions high. I've gotten word standings are crazy. That being said, I guess let's go ahead, take a look and see what these look like as we prepare for tomorrow's game.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By one point.
I guess let's just start top
By
to
fucking
bottom.
one
Let's just
point.
we'll start top to bottom. Acorn and Bolts
Yeah,
has
kids
suddenly moved
in
in
day
to
2 can need
first
to
place.
kill
Off
people.
of Bolts solo, a 4th place, 4 elims. Kelly, how?
I mean, it's Acorn and Bolts. That's how. Of course, it is Acorn and Cold in 1st and 2nd place with a single point separating them, Vivid. My gosh. But that's also not even to consider just how close everyone in our top 4 is. That is just 28 points separating 1st from 4th place.
Incredible run here. You know, I can't lie. Acorn and Bullets, they've had, I would consider kind of like a quiet day. I don't think anything kind of crazy has happened. I mean, they won game number 4, but you know, it's not like they like popped off like huge amount of eliminations. Bolts has had a couple of solo clutches where he's picked up like, you know, just a couple of eliminations to kind of keep it going. But I would honestly say that it's felt kind of quiet. Like we've been highlighting these other teams who have had pop-up performances, pop-up wins. You blink and you miss it. The guys are at the top of the leaderboard somehow. I mean, yeah, it's close up there, but incredible to kind of see them sneak their way up there, in my opinion.
1 point. A single point. Of course, Cold and Rapid, 1 point behind. Now, again, so this is something we talk about, like, and we kind of sprinkle it in here and there, but like, you can't make mistakes at this stage, right? You make a mistake, that allows everyone else in the lobby to make a move. To kind of like say, hey, you're out of the way. Sick. Let's push harder. For Acorn and Rapid, they fell 26th with 1 elim in that game, right? And think about how far ahead they were. And now, because of that mistake, Acorn and Bolts are at 1 point ahead of us. It took one game for that to kind of like fall apart, Kelly.
Yeah, it's wild just how much our narrative can shift with a single game, with a single elimination. And I mean, right now, if we're talking about single movements, I do have to look at the threshold right now, reminding everyone we are looking at the top 13 to make it into Dusseldorf, and that is QK and Khan right now, currently sitting in 13th place. So that win, if this was just a one-day tournament, that last game would literally be the deciding factor on if they're going on an international trip to compete in a LAN. So I love it. That is what this is all about, Vivid. It is about these crazy games that can completely shift the storyline.
Yeah, I mean, we run everything back tomorrow and everything pans out the way exactly as it did today. Hey, UK Con, they're going to the summit. So an incredible performance. And UK's like, man, I got to do that again tomorrow to qualify. Are you kidding me? Poor guy sweating over there. He's like, wow, that was incredible. We need a reaction of that, by the way, on socials. I'm expecting to see it.
Oh man, yeah, that's the thing, right? Viv is like, we've got another 6 games tomorrow, right? And it may not even be, hey, I need to run that back. It's I might need to do just like the very best I can to make sure that I'm just enough ahead of the other team that I can stay in that contention, right? I want to just bring up the leaderboard just one more time, and obviously, like, we have a show tomorrow. We're gonna break all this down. We're gonna take some time to look at everything to prepare a show for you guys tomorrow, but. Just look at this, even in 3rd place, Agers and Ritual, right? Look at that top 3. It's only 8 points separating 1st and 3rd. And even if you kind of continue down the leaderboard, right? Like Clicks and Higgs versus Peterbot and Poyo, they're separated by 6 points. I mean, guys, so much can still happen. And as game 6 just showed us, one game can flip everything on its head. I would love to sit here and break all this down and just start the next 6 games, okay? But that's a tomorrow thing. So for now, we're just gonna wait. You know what? We'll be back tomorrow. We'll break some of this down. Before we say goodbye, Kelly, Vivid, would you like to say anything to prepare the Fortnite fan for tomorrow?
Grab your popcorn and some slurp juice because you're not gonna want to leave your seats once those 6 games start.
First 6 games they delivered. I feel like it only gets better. Game 2 on NA always goes crazy because I can almost guarantee we'll go into game 12 and there'll be like a 4-point difference between like 8 teams and be like, oh, okay, who's gonna win? I don't know. This is gonna be entertaining. So yeah, definitely grab some popcorn, grab some slurpers, a beer tomorrow because NA.
Y'all, thank you for watching, for cheering, for being part of this. It's so much fun getting to hang out with y'all and just watch incredible Fortnite. The players, thank y'all as well. Till tomorrow, don't forget,
I can't wait for tomato.
They also have 20 spots going to Dusseldorf. We need to see how they go. They also need to hand out an Axe of Champions just like we do. And of course, after tomorrow, we're gonna have a more complete picture of all of the teams heading out over to
not paying any more people.
God. Tomorrow is gonna be a movie. Fortnite fam, until then, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on that paddle bus.
Beep, beep.